What's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we had a brand new video on Bitcoin yet again because a mayor of a town or city in Brazil just announced that they are going to be allocating some money to Bitcoin as well as incentivizing people to pay taxes in Bitcoin for a discount, as well as a bunch of other news. But before we jump into that, if you're not subscribed, make sure to smash that sub button because we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But let's jump into this Brazil news for Bitcoin. Here's a tweet of the announcement here that the mayor of Rio de Janeiro, butchered that probably, of Brazil, pledges to invest 1% of its treasury in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So by saying and cryptocurrency, interesting to see how they split it up, if it's majority Bitcoin or if it's all Bitcoin and they just say and crypto. But they go on to also offer a discount in taxes if you want to pay your taxes in Bitcoin. So you can get a 10% discount on your taxes if you paid them in Bitcoin. That is pretty ridiculous stuff. Incentivizing people to pay taxes through Bitcoin. Obviously, there's something there where a lot of people or the government is seeing the value in Bitcoin and the ability that it has, that they're willing to give discounts on taxes and their tax revenue to be able to get some to hold on to. So that should show you the value of Bitcoin and the power of Bitcoin that it has for this. As well as another thing that happened because of this news was that Fidelity actually came out and they said because of this, they've been super bullish all year. We're only 2 weeks into this year and they have been constantly out there bullish on Bitcoin, excited about Bitcoin, talking about it all the time. And they actually said because of this news that they think a lot more countries are going to FOMO in because of these moves from El Salvador, from this mayor, and maybe we'll see other mayors and other countries start to jump into Bitcoin. That'll cause a lot of FOMO and a lot of people will have to rush in because they don't want to be the last one in. That's the biggest problem. No one wanted to be first, but El Salvador solved that problem. So now the big problem is nobody wants to be last. Even though that is great news, it didn't really have a difference for the price here. Obviously, we've been kind of stuck in this range with nothing really going on, kind of just sitting here hovering. You see, even these last couple days, we dipped down, bounced directly off of this bottom support line here, bottom of this red channel, bounced right up, and we've been kind of flat for the last few days, not really doing much. This could be attributed to obviously it being the weekend and a holiday weekend on that, so not a lot of participations, probably not a lot of trades or buying or selling going on, just kind of people ignoring the market, very few people actually doing something in the market. Makes sense if that's the case. But if we look back at this chart here, we see obviously we compared this before this section to this section right here. We saw this huge downward move with a bounce up. Same thing here. This one was more aggressive, but same thing here. A little bit more consolidation than what we got here. A bounce up, and then this came right back down, dipped down to a low $28,000, and then bounced back up, consolidated, fell a little bit, and then rocketed up. So are we going to see the same thing kind of play out here where we had this bounce up and this move back down, and then we kind of got a little bounce. We got this big dip to 39K, bounced up back into this channel, and do we consolidate here for a bit, maybe find our way back nearing 39K, and then rocketing up from there? It's definitely a possibility. Nothing of the past indicates the future. We all know this, but it's just interesting to see it playing out kind of similarly and seeing if it actually does play out that way. But obviously what we want to do short term is minimum stay in this red channel, not break below it. But obviously we want to get up to this top here and try and break out of this channel and start finding our way back up to all-time highs. Like you see here, not a lot of resistance up between here and $69,000. You'd have to get through about 50K. That's a benchmark. That's psychologically has a lot of effects on everything. You get through that. Next one's about 60K, which doesn't have a lot of resistance there because we didn't spend a lot of time up there. And then the next one is obviously the all-time high. So we'll see how it all plays out. I think, we're doing normal things, consolidating right now, and the price of Bitcoin's kind of getting compressed because it's heavily shorted instead of heavily long. So we are open to that short squeeze potential. And we know we're kind of heavily shorted right now because of these funding rates. So backed by basically either dollars or stable coins. We don't see that really negative kind of yield here. There's one exchange that's negative. The rest are low, but there's still, not much going on there, which is all right. That's fine. That's backed by, stable coins. That's kind of how traditionally it's done, backed by, dollars and stable currencies against it. So that shows where people are still bullish on Bitcoin. But if you go to the token marginalized, this means Bitcoin is backing that derivative or that contract, this futures perpetual swap contract. And you see every single exchange except for two are negative, and then this is break even. So not. It looks like it's so much more heavily shorted with people who are using Bitcoin as collateral. So obviously that's a sign where we could get a short squeeze out of this. We could have something happen where the same way we see these cascades down in price, where obviously longs start to get liquidated and we see the price fall very quickly, we could get the opposite effect where shorts start to get liquidated if, whales usually sell off Bitcoin if they think the longs are over levered, and it could easily make the price fall very violently, and then they buy back once that happens. Now, another thing they can do is if they think shorts are over levered, that they can go in and just market buy a large amount of Bitcoin. That'll send the price up, pretty drastically in a short term. Launch these short interest kind of attacks, and then the short squeeze happens where the shorts get liquidated, the price rockets up because they have to buy in, and then we'll see how far that can go. But even on this site here, you can see the 24-hour long and short ratio is leaning to the shorts. We have just over 50% short and then 49.7% long. So the shorts, it's more shorted than it is longed right now, and that could be a good thing for short-term price moving up, for getting a little bit of short squeezes going. And we got to take a look at the hash rate. It has actually made a new all-time high in raw hash rate, raw hash rate, and 216 million terahashes per second. So that the network still growing, still getting more secure by the day. Miners still joining the network. Everything is just going great fundamentally for Bitcoin, because there's nothing really worrying some here. We see obviously this great recovery from the downward move. If we go to a 7-day average, we have kind of more wavy up here, and we see a little bit of a decline for the 7-day average. But this is almost a week old at this point. So we'll see, how these raw values, where the spike up, if we see this kind of spike back up, maybe make a new all-time high on the 7-day average. Even the 30-day is kind of like where it starts to get less volatile. You're starting to see long-term moves, where it's just kind of, it's going up and to the right is what's happening right now, and in all these values. So it's the fundamentals of Bitcoin are still looking good. And just to end this video off with something kind of funny with Dave Ramsey, a clip that's going around. He must have said this, in 2014. So he must have said it like today in 2014 or something. Or people are just pulling it up because it's funny to look at. But comparing, Bitcoin people are stupid, you're going to lose your money. And then Bitcoin price, it was $550, actually $549 when he said this. And it's $43,000 right now. So who was the real stupid guy here?
I'll go ahead and, I got all you Iraqi dinar people and all you gold people all pissed off at me. So let's just go ahead and add you Bitcoin people to the mix. You're stupid. You're going to lose your money. Be pissed at me. You shouldn't have put money in something wacko like that. People, money, and handling your personal investments is not difficult.
So just funny to see another person who was hating on Bitcoin just proved wrong. Time and time again, we continue to see this, continues to be a trend, and we'll probably still see people today who are fighting against Bitcoin, saying at $43,000, it's such a scam, and you're going to lose all of your money. And in another 5 years, people are going to look back and say, wow, I wish I got Bitcoin at $43,000. So it'll be interesting to see it all play out. So that's some Bitcoin news for us. Brazil, a mayor in Brazil is adopting Bitcoin, putting 1% of the reserves into Bitcoin. Nothing crazy, but that's how you get this ripple effect. If everyone in the world put 1% into Bitcoin, it'd be a lot of money. So starting this effect, countries FOMO coming into play, and adoption keeps moving forward. Fundamentals keep moving forward. Everything looking great, except for short term. Bitcoin's more shorted than it is longed. So price kind of going down is something that could happen. But if it starts grinding up and those shorts stay here, we could get a rocket up after liquidating some of these shorts. So we'll see how it all goes. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.